If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Alright, so J. Cole just dropped. We gotta talk about this because obviously that is a pretty big thing for J. Cole to just randomly drop on a Tuesday in September. That's usually not what happens with J. Cole releases. You know, we had the off season, which released in May this year, which to me still is one of the best albums of this year. I thought from track 1 to the last track, that was one of the most enjoyable experiences of this year. I would even say better than probably Certified Lover Boy. I wouldn't go as far as say it's better than Donda, but the off-season is still really high up there for me when it comes to hip-hop releases in 2021. But he just released a new song on YouTube as like an exclusive called Heaven's EP. And he released a video for it, an official music video with just, you know, random clips of him traveling around and stuff like that, hitting Vegas, being on a jet and stuff like that. This comes just a week before he starts his tour for the off season, which has been announced for quite some time. But let's talk about this thing because obviously, also judging from the title, Heaven's EP, I already had some thoughts about this, so let's talk about this. So on this track, he borrows the beat from Drake's Pipe Down, which was on Certified Lover Boy. I actually enjoyed the beat more with Cole rapping over it than Drake. The beat never really stood out to me on Pipe Down, but when Cole, you know, did his stuff on there, it sounded fire. So shout out to Cole for making me, you know, go back to that beat and appreciate it more than I did when I listened to CLB. But that's one, you know, part of it. He's showing love to Drizzy. Drizzy also reposted him on Instagram, on social media, saying Cole on fire, stuff like that, and that he's, you know, using his beat, always showing love. I really like that. But what Cole says on this track is even more interesting. Obviously, a lot of, you know, common themes for him, talking about his success, but in like a very more poetic way than just flexing, more in like, yo, this is where I came from, this is where I'm at right now, encouraging people to, you know, follow their dreams, work hard, the usual stuff we've had on these Cole freestyles and stuff like that. He also talks about, for example, his family, keeping them out of the limelight, not using his kids for attention, for views, for stuff like that, like a lot of rappers do. So he's like, you know, always like preaching as this big brother, the middle child, as he called himself, in hip-hop, bridging the gap between like the more mature older generation, then like this new generation of rappers that he is obviously giving advice to, not just on this track, but also over the past 3 to 4 years, also in the off season, for example. So that is, he's in his role again as the middle child. That's all I gotta say about this. But there's one specific line that had me thinking that we might actually get more Cole still to come this year or next year, and that is one specific line where he said, "God with me on this record, this is Heaven's EP, the tale's official, the best man breathing, it just failed to hit you," and blah blah blah, going on from there. But obviously when you title a song Heaven's EP, it kind of, you know, feels like he's wanting to tell us something with that. Obviously, this is just one song, and that's the title of the song, Heaven's EP, but I just can't, you know, not think that he might, you know, have subliminally announced something with this. He talked about, yo, this is Heaven's EP, and an EP is usually more than one song. It's usually a couple of songs. J. Cole dropped an array of EPs over the course of his career. Of course, most famously, the Truly Yours EP series with 1 and 2. This might be a third installment in that series, but which I think is even more likely is, y'all remember we still had the rest of the Fall Off era in there also being a rumor mixtape, It's a Boy, but also maybe that last album, The Fall Off, might be this EP, or whatever he decides to do in between. And I think that rather one of those projects is being referenced here. I'm not saying this is like an official announcement, we're getting The Fall Off, it'll be called Heaven's EP or whatever, but I do think that this is more than just this one song. I mean, why should he call it Heaven's EP? That's the question I'm asking myself. He could have just asked it, yo, this is Heaven's track or whatever, you feel me? Like, he could have just named it anything but Heaven's EP. There's got to be something more to it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I want to know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this, because I think that's an interesting discussion we could have. Of course, J. Cole just dropped the off-season about 4 months ago. I don't think that he would drop a new project this, shortly afterwards. I think if he is dropping another project, it'll be after the off-season tour, which is ending, I think, next year in like spring. So he'll be on the road for some time, and then once he comes back, maybe he'll be releasing this thing, maybe, but also it'll be a thing that he's recording on the road, because this is the first time that he's hitting the road in quite a while. Maybe he wants to capture that energy and make an EP out of it called Heaven's EP, rapping over other people's beats. He took the first step with this one, rapping over Pipe Down by Drake, which was a very recent track. So obviously J. Cole's track was recorded quite recently and spontaneously as well. I think you can hear it, and a little bit of the mixing as well is not mixed to perfection, but that's not even the point. It's just on YouTube for the fans, for the people who love it, for the people who appreciate it, and the rest is just it's not about putting it on streaming and getting the money in for that. I think this will be like more of a passion project for J. Cole, rapping over other people's beats again. That's what he showed that he was at his best at back in the days of like the warm-up, the Friday Night Lights era and stuff like that, when he like took old Hove beats and like put them in his own way, or like Kanye beats, and just did his own thing on there. That is what people fell in love with him for, and maybe that is part of his effort to try to recapture that spark that he had during the warm-up era back in 2009, 2010, that he also talked about in the creation of the off-season. Of course, my theory could be completely wrong. This is just me kind of interpreting my thoughts in here, but that's all I can do. That's just my honest thoughts on this, the things that I thought about when I first saw this track, when I first heard this track, when I first heard him reference this Heaven's EP. I just couldn't help but, dig a little deeper and think about what this could mean beyond just being the title of this song, because to me it's still weird that he names a song Heaven's EP. Come on, there's got to be something deeper to this, but as I said, could be completely wrong. This is just my take on this, just me thinking. But now it's interesting to see what y'all think about this, because it'll be very, very exciting and interesting to have a discussion about this also in the Discord, which, by the way, if you don't follow yet, go join that Discord in the description. Best hip-hop community in the world. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think of this new track? What do you think of the video? What do you think about the fact that he sampled or used a very recent Drake song? How do you think Cole did on here? Are you excited for the tour? Do you think Heaven's EP is just this one track, or actually something bigger than that? All of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.